Howdy, folks. Okay, what I'm going to say is going to sound a little strange, but I want you to hear me out. Right now, we've got red state people and blue state people, and for all practical purposes, they hate each other. Whereas 50 years ago, we used to be united, and you could have Democrats and Republicans and still be friends. You could have liberals and conservatives and still be friends. In the last 50 years, we've really lost the ability to get along. For some reason right now, everything's got to be polarized. And I think I know where it happened. I think it is the unintended result of getting prayers out of school. Well, now wait a minute, Deacon Parsons, that just sounds stupid. I understand it sounds stupid, but hear me out. I was raised in a western Kansas town of about 1,200. It was a county seat. My kindergarten, first, second, third grade teachers had been my dad's kindergarten, first, second, third grade teachers. They were friends with my grandma, and these teachers got their teaching license the way Laura Ingalls Wilder's did. She took the state teacher's test, she passed it, she's a teacher. And these ladies were around before the court decision that said you can't have prayer in school. Well, they pretty much ignored it. In the morning, we would have a chapter from the Old Testament and a morning prayer. At noon, we had a prayer for lunch and a chapter from the New Testament. None of these were controversial. Sometimes the teachers did the prayer, sometimes they had students do the prayer. It was always understood that the prayer was going to be generic, you don't beat anybody up. And the chapters that we read in the Bible were basic Bible stories. And people claim, oh, well, that's teaching religion in school. Well, no, it wasn't. The chapters out of the New Testament, the Old Testament, it makes as much sense as studying Greek and Roman mythology. It's part of our culture. The United States culture is based on biblical principles. So whether you believe them or not, to be an American, you need to understand where they came from. Now, the one thing we learned with the prayer was tolerance. You see, we thought at the time that we had a real big religious schism in the school because we thought we had normal people and Mennonites. And the Mennonites were quite different. And, every once in a while, and like kids do, like humans do, we wanted to say, we're good, we're cool, they're bad, they're uncool. And the one thing that our teachers drove into us is that in the United States, you can believe anything you want to believe. I can believe that my religious beliefs are absolutely right. If you don't agree with me, you're absolutely wrong. And I can stand up and I can say that. But for me to have that freedom to say that, I've got to make sure that everybody else, especially those people who disagree with me, have the ability to do the same thing. So when we had the Mennonites would do whatever they did that was different from us normal people, the teachers would tell us, that's fine, that's their religion. You don't have to do it, but you can't stop them from doing it. And we did things like every once in a while the Catholics would have to have fish on Friday. Well, come Friday, the whole school ate fish sticks. And we asked, I'm not Catholic, why do I have to eat fish? Well, the Catholics have to eat fish, and we're not making 2 meals because there's no reason why you can't eat fish on Friday. So what we were taught was basic tolerance. That just because I think you're going to hell and just because you think I'm going to hell doesn't mean we can't be good friends before we make the trip. And I think one of the unintended consequences of taking that out of schools, teaching American children from kindergarten, first, second, third grade, to be tolerant of one another, to let them know that yes, there are going to be people with different values out there. Yes, it's okay for them to have those values. And yes, it's okay for us to talk about them and be friends with them And just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean you have to be disagreeable about it. And I think that's why we've got to the point we are today. That it's not just, conservative or liberal or Republican or Democrat or red state or blue state. It's people have divided up into these things to where my ideas are absolutely correct, and if you disagree with them, I must destroy you. And that's stupid. And that's what's tearing the country up. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the subject. This is Deacon Parsons saying, love your maker, love your mate, and do what's right because it's right, and devil take the hindmost.